13 things that successful relationships have in common. 1. They have realistic expectations. There is no such thing as happily ever after. People in long-term relationships don't experience puppy love every single day of their lives. Expecting a relationship to be like that is what makes people ditch perfectly good relationships when reality hits. The sort of love that sustains a long-term relationship is not the exciting romantic love movies tell us to expect, but a deeper, less glamorous, yet unconditional love. 2. They actually respect each other. You can't love someone you don't respect. What sustains the relationship when feelings are hurt is a deep mutual respect for one another. Maintaining respect, such as not saying negative things about your partner to your friends and family, respecting the differences between partners and keeping no secrets are the main focus here. 3. They know how to talk about things, especially the ugly stuff. Communication is the second most important thing. Having those difficult conversations about each other and the relationship is what helps the relationship keep going. If you can't talk to the other person about this, then the problems will never be solved. On the other hand, openly discussing topics that are difficult for you to discuss is what helps build and maintain intimacy. 4. They're healthy individuals outside of the relationship. Couples in successful relationships apparently know how to make themselves happy and don't rely on their partner to make up for their shortcomings in that department. If you rely on another person for your happiness to the point where you lose your own identity, interests, and perspective, turns out the relationship is less likely to last. On the other hand, if you are an individual who's independent and self-aware, you've probably got it made. 5. They know how to give space and take some for themselves. Individuals need space. You can't maintain your own individuality if your relationship is entirely symbiotic. Give your partner space to be his or her own person and claim your own space for the same reasons. Couples who respect each other's me time seem to be the ones that last. 6. They're constantly growing and evolving as people and as a couple. Part of being an individual is also changing throughout life. What most long-term couples have in common is that their love for each other is such that it allows each person to change and grow, even in unexpected ways. Their relationships change to encompass these changes because their love is not dependent on external circumstances. 7. They fight, but they know how to do it. Keeping things respectful, not dragging past arguments into the current one, learning to compromise, learning to let things go and not insist on always solving everything are the qualities that sustain long, solid relationships. Some couples mention understanding each other, rather than compromise, to help turn fights into conversations. 8. They forgive each other. Learning to move away from arguments, no matter who won, and just getting on with your life together is a lesson most successful couples seem to have learned. It all comes down to make a life together more civil and pleasant, which makes relationships last in the long run. 9. They know that the little things matter. Romantic gestures, taking the time to have lunch together or go for a walk, remembering to honor the connection even when life happens. Little things that add up to the big picture of a great relationship. It may seem silly to work at such stuff when work, school or kids come along, but apparently this is a majorly important part of their relationships. 10. They make sex a priority. Long-term couples agree that when things go bad, the first indication is the sex. All these extremely long-term relationships seem to involve regular sex, so if you've always been saying that sex is important, it is true. 11. They appreciate the value in relationship rules. Long-term couples have their own logical divisions of labor, cooking, cleaning, taking care of children, that match their own lifestyle, rather than expectations, traditional gender roles, etc. Some even say they review theirs regularly, as you would in a business. There are some jobs one of you will hate, whereas others might be harmless. Learning to work with your own preferences and dividing things along those lines is apparently a winning tactic for making your home life not suck. 12. They know how to ride out the ebbs and flows. Long-term couples reported that their feelings go through phases. Sometimes they feel deep love for each other, other times they wake up next to each other thinking, "What are we doing here?" The key for these couples was learning how to ride out the bad or indifferent bits and just accept them as part of the relationship. Someone described these as waves that you need to learn to ride. It may not be as glamorous as happily ever after, but it does have the advantage of actually being real.